Okay, David, a few more minutes.
All right.
Hang tight.
Are the colors weird on that camera? That game is way greener than it's supposed to be. Doesn't matter to me.
David, can you hear me?
Yeah.
So,
Are you able to hear me?
Yeah. I'm the owner of the machine. I'm Benzik.
Oh, okay.
I've been working on this machine for quite a while. Actually, I can't. Hold on, I gotta take the headphones off. It's acting like a speech jammer. But essentially, had the game for a while, bought it unworking, got it somewhat working, and then after cleaning up the playfield and score reels and stuff, it started to exhibit a problem where when I would start a game, the gold unit would step back to 0 and then instantly start counting up to full stack. So I started looking at like the gold unit, cleaning everything off, cleaning switches, looking at the gold counter relay and also the reset. If the gold unit is at any position and other than 1 or 0, if I hit the count, it'll index down to 0, come back up and be fine. But if the 0 position is like that, the ending switch is active and you hit the count gold, it comes back, goes up 1, and then keeps counting, and one of the relays down in the bottom just like is held on, and then the score motor's just indexing it up. So I'm almost certain it's just a switch that's not disabling. But
so we probably you can hear me, right, without the headphones?
Yeah, let me get the headphone on.
So you can't hear me without the headphone, but you can't talk with the headphone. We should fix that.
Yeah. We'll turn up the volume on the
Okay.
Just the talkback mic has about a tenth of a second delay.
Yeah, oh no, I've tried to do this before, which is why I wanted to do the little test session earlier to get this stuff worked out. And what you just told me is very helpful. We should repeat it when we're streaming.
Yeah, absolutely. I just wanted to make sure you had a little bit of pre-knowledge.
But a key thing that I'll try to remember to ask on stream as well is, so you don't know when this game has last worked and who's worked on it before you.
Correct.
Right? Thing really, really strange. That I've now started to see stuff like that. But this particular problem, did it happen while you were working on it, or do you think maybe it's always been there?
I think it probably happened while I was working on it. I'm pretty sure I had it playing before I started like the playfield teardown and really cleaning the game up.
Okay. Perfect. And you'll be able to see the schematic when I'm sharing it, or?
Yeah, they'll be able to see it too, because we have a playback screen here. Let me show you what we're looking at real quick. So welcome everybody. We are officially live. We have David Volanzky from the Pacific Pinball Museum zooming in with us from California to do this awesome, let's see if we can get Prospector's reset issue fixed.
Does it look like I'm looking at the game? Oh, I can't go there.
He's like, Emoto, what have you gotten me into? All right, I'm going to flip this around real quick so you can see. This is our little stage setup. And they have a monitor there. So it should be pretty cool. And that's me. And you see you. And then we're going to go like this. So now you can see them. I'm going to make you a little bit smaller. And then when you pull up this schematic and stuff, David, we'll be able to see it and everything. I need you over. Let's put you over. Sweet. And then I have another camera too, so don't worry. We have this camera. which
Oh,
is
yeah.
looking at a fancy
Okay.
Marco
I
stool
need to
right
do
now.
something.
Stand by. Yeah, put it on the game. This is going to be David's eyes, Matthew. So anywhere he needs that camera to go, that's where you put it. Oh, number 2, go up. This too?
That too? Can you hear us now? Cool.
Yeah.
So this will be so you can talk to him.
Yeah.
And then I can do a picture-in-picture so you can see the two. So fancy.
Amoto, can we get a little bit more David through the speaker? He's a little muffled, so it's going to be hard to hear him.
I will be talking like this. I'm just going to keep talking and saying nothing so you can get the levels where you want them. And we're going to work on Prospector today. I don't know, does your Prospector really look that green in the back glass, or is it the camera showing me something really weird? The colors are just wrong on this game.
It's the LEDs that were shining at the.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's not nearly that color.
Yeah, it has a really weird color. All right. Hopefully, you'll be able to see wire colors if it comes to that. Because I won't be able to see the right wire color, I think.
I might be able to change my white balance.
Yeah, they'll be asking a lot from the web.
Let's not worry about till we get to that.
Lighting.
Whoa! I'm making it like Technicolor. Okay, maybe we won't do that. Cool. It's just something.
And is the show going on now, or are they still setting up?
No, the show is going on now.
All right.
Yep. If you
There's
turn
no
off the
background
light,
noise.
tap the
You
light.
can really have a perfect microphone for this.
Oh yeah, we have the lav. Well, Matt will talk, and Matthew will be the hands. Do you want to put the lav on?
So Matt is the owner, and Matthew is my familiar face.
Yes.
There, that I know.
Yes.
Okay. That's not good. I could change my name to like
You can do
Maddie.
Benzik and Talley.
Oh no!
Or
If they can keep it straight, it'll be obvious.
Yeah.
Are we live?
We are live.
Yeah,
We are totally
okay.
live.
All right. Okay, so if we're ready to start, then tell me what the game is doing wrong.
Yeah. So.
Or we could do introductions. Do we start with introductions? I don't know.
Yeah. David, do you want to start on the introduction?
So I'm David Volanzky. I'm a tech volunteer at the Pacific Pinball Museum in Alameda, just outside of San Francisco. And I've got schematics up on my screen that I'll be able to share when we get to that point. And let's hear from the guys there and hear about the game.
Yeah, so I'm Matt Benzik. I'm the owner of this game. Pinballer, home brewer, lighting, friend of Marco, and toss it off to Matthew.
Yeah. Y'all just saw me. I'm Matthew Talley with Lynn's Arcade. Here to be hands for Matt and David. See if we can get this thing working.
All right. Sweet. So yeah. So David, I've had this machine a while. I bought it non-working. It from what I heard from the original owner, it sat for probably 5-10 years. Typical story. I got it home, started working on it. Just cycling through all the score reels, getting triggering the reset relay, getting the machine to just complete a reset cycle. And then, then figuring out, which individual thing was not working. I believe I did get it working at one point. And then I started to do a topside teardown, working on, just kind of cleaning up the machine, getting it ready to sell. Once I got it back together, it started exhibiting a problem where I would start a game and the gold bonus unit would start the reset cycle, index down to its 0 position, and then basically count up continuously, and the score motor was just like locked on. Some initial troubleshooting I did was indexing the gold bonus up by the gold bonus relay, and then for the advance relay, and then telling it to reset through triggering the gold bonus count relay to see if it could make it back to its position and stop the score motor, which it can.
So wait, let me stop you for 1 second. How were you able to advance it if the game already automatically advances it all the way? When you try to reset?
So I was in game over sequence. So
okay.
I had the play field up and was just manually triggering like the advance relay, and then triggering the reset to bring it back down, or the collect relay to bring it back down and see if it could handle its its reset cycle, which in game over it could. However, if I triggered it when it was on the 10,000 position, or the 1 position, it would then index down and then count all the way up to 10,000 and do something weird. So I have a feeling I'm just missing some switch somewhere that's like stuck on, but I've definitely gotten tunnel vision with it. So hence why I bring it to you and Matthew to be a much better set of eyes and ears and brains than I.
Okay, why don't we take a look at it doing the problem?
What was that again?
Why don't we take a look at it doing?
Turn it on.
Demonstrate the problem. Let's see it.
Let's see the problem in action. I want to come in.
I wonder if we want a camera more sort of on the play field. I guess we're going to see the score reels reset. I'm particularly interested in seeing if the ball kicks out, which I can just ask them as well. I don't see it.
Yeah. If it kicks out to the shooter lane.
Yeah, at the end of the reset. When it should.
So last I saw, it was at the 60,000 position. So we're going to trigger. It is in game over. The match light is on. We're going to hit it.
And the ball is in the game, right?
And ball has ejected, and you can see it's counting up. And it's not scoring. And now the silver is kicking up, kicking down. I'm gonna kill it just to.
Okay.
So as soon as I shut it down, start it back up,
it's quiet.
It's back.
But silver was moving as well. That's interesting.
So, and then it just decided to do it again. But then sometimes it'll just stop and be totally fine. And then you can, so like silver advance works totally fine. Collect silver, does what it needs to. But as soon as we get back to collecting gold, now it's, so it kicked out the ball. It was stopped at 50,000. I put it back into the out hole for collect gold, and nothing happened.
So it did not collect bonus.
Correct. And it did not
kick out the ball?
It hasn't kicked out the ball. It hasn't indexed the ball in play either.
And I realized one problem with the microphones being so good is I can't hear the game. I can't hear if the motor's running or what it's doing. It's an interesting thing because when I'm working on it, and Emoto, can you turn the brightness down on the camera that's on the game right now? Because I'm
Yeah, bring down the exposure.
I'm getting a lot of hot spots, and I can't even see the bonus light. So, oh, there we go. That's very good.
Perfect.
That's a little dark, but that's okay. But yeah, now I can probably. So like, I don't see any of the gold bonus lights on right now.
Correct.
So you drained the ball, and it did not collect the bonus. I mean, is the motor running right now?
No. So
okay, when you drain the ball, the motor runs.
So here, let me advance gold, and because I think it's probably on a light that may be out.
Oh, okay.
It might be on the 10K. I think 10K might be bad.
Oh, okay. That's the maximum. Okay, so when you collect.
So we'll drop it on collect. Motor's counting. It got to, and that time it was at 10K. Counted down. 10K is not lit. Score motor is not running, but it has not kicked the ball out. So it seems like it hasn't completed its end of ball.
Did it collect? I didn't see the lights. I didn't see the gold bonus lights. Did you notice if it collected or not?
It collected. I didn't check if the score reels collected, but I did watch it count down.
Okay, Moto, that got me a little bit of background sound there. Okay.
Good.
Yeah, so.
But it's not kicking the ball out.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like something. It's not end of balling.
Let me check one thing here with you.
Yep.
If we turn the power off,
yes,
does a score reel change?
In game over mode, no.
No. When you were in a game, then you turned the power off. Did a score reel advance?
I don't believe so, but let me get it back into, because it's in game over now.
Get it back into that mode. I'm trying to see if there's a stuck switch that might it would cause a score reel to get for the ready state. It would pull in the plunger to the coil, but it wouldn't actually advance until you turn the game off. So let's just see if that's happening.
So we were in game over.
Right.
I hit start. Score reels counted, got to 0, but it did not eject the ball.
And did the bonus unit do the weird thing?
No.
It counted down and went.
But I think the gold bonus was already at a 0 index, or like it was at its home position in the reset.
So at this point, it finished reset. Are the flippers active, but it didn't kick the ball out?
Flippers are active. As soon as I hit a pop bumper, it kicked the ball out and indexed gold bonus 1 revolution of the score motor. So it indexed 50K.
And then kicked the ball out.
Yes. The ball kicked out as soon as right before it started counting up, the ball got kicked out.
Right before it started counting up, the ball kicked out. So the ball kicked first.
Yep.
All right. I'll pull up the schematic. And I've already highlighted a couple of the things I think we're going to want to talk about. So the The gold bonus unit is the stepper unit that controls the gold bonus. Not talking just to you, Matt. You probably know this, but for the audience to be able to follow along.
Absolutely.
So the gold bonus unit, it has a coil for step up. It has a coil for reset, which is going to be a step down. It doesn't do a quick reset. It steps down each number. And there's a gold bonus relay that is used when you're collecting the bonus and causes it to step down. And then there's a gold bonus advance relay, which causes it to step up. I kind of want to see the advance relay. No, it was just the bare step up. So there are 3 ways for the gold bonus unit to step up. So one of the paths is that gold bonus advance relay. That's, we can look down on the schematic later, but those are the things on the play field that earn, add to gold bonus. But there's also left and right rollover relay. So we should look. I wanted to make sure that those switches were functioning correctly. But also, and this is, I think, only used at the very start of each ball, if the out-hole relay is energized, which would cause this make-break to switch over from what is shown here. And then the motor will be running. There'll be a switch on the motor that should do 1 advance. And that's how it starts at 1 instead of at 0. And so that's why I was asking, did the ball kick out? Because if the ball wasn't kicking out, the out-hole relay could be just staying on, and that would explain this. But if I also wanted to double check the switches on the play field. So, and are you guys able to see my mouse, the hand?
Yes, we can.
Okay, I'll highlight things when I need to, but
oh, David, there is a additional bit of information that I realized I just didn't tell you.
All right.
The match unit relay, the actual coil for the indexing of the match unit, that coil is not installed right now. So the match is always at 900, and also that means that only the left and right gold advance selector, like the
alternator,
the alternator relays are not changing state.
Okay, that makes it even easier because we'll only have to look at 1. But let me go ahead. I'm going to go into the index now. I'm looking for left and right rollover relay. They don't put this in, that's coil, relay coil locations. And they don't put this in order for me. So I have to just scan it looking for left and right. There it is, E22. And you know what? I'm going to highlight it just so I can find it again next time easier.
And David, that E22 is the XY position on the schematic of that relay, correct?
Yes. Yeah, I mean, the E, it's going to be way at the top or the bottom.
Yeah.
But I know once I'm looking at 22, there's not that much to look at, and it just pops right out. Left and right rollover relay. There's a left side rollover switch, a right side rollover switch. Gold bonus unit end of stroke switch. Okay. So the left and right rollover relay locks itself on until the gold bonus actually advances. and this is part of a different circuit. So the left side rollover and the right side rollover switch, I guess I want to make sure that this relay is not on, whether it's one of these switches or from some other reason. So let's find that relay and go ahead and then do that same test.
So if I trigger the rollover and the gold indexes, does that tell you if that relay is working properly or stuck on?
I want us to just look at the relay and see if it's on or not. But so, I mean, at this point, with the game off, it should be off. If it's mechanically stuck on, that would be interesting to note.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I just triggered the, on the left side is the side that's active right now. And if I trigger that rollover, the gold unit does index up one step.
Okay, and when you do that, is that left and right rollover relay sort of energizing once and then relaxing?
What's the position of that one?
Are you asking me? What's the position? You mean where is it? I don't know.
Yeah.
You're looking in where I thought you should look. I think it's going to be under the play field.
Matthew, you want me and those should have the maps of where that relay is. What's that one? Yeah, so the gold bonus event, so we've got
So
rollover relay.
Left and right rollover relay. The schematic actually, I think they've documented it in two different ways. They called it L&R rollover relay, and they've called it L&R RO relay. I'm thinking it's going to be one of those ones where Matthew's looking.
I think it's going to be that one. What's the switch stack on that one look like? Do you have that?
No, that's not
okay.
William. I'm sorry. Well,
yeah.
Sonic. Is this Sonic? Yeah, Sonic or yeah. They don't document that the way Gottlieb does.
Yeah.
The coil wire is energized by. Oh, guys are losing my schematic here. All right. There's a red-brown wire that energizes the coil. Well, you know, the other thing you can do while you're looking at that set of relays, just go ahead and hit the switch again and see if one of those is going.
Which one? Right there?
That's a pro tip for everybody. If you can't find the relay, just hit the switch that energizes it. It'll jump out at you.
So that's the gold bonus advance. So that makes sense that's.
Oh, really? No. So there's another one that should be triggering gold bonus advance. Hold on a second. Left top rollover switch. Which left rollover switch are you triggering?
It would be the lower left rollover.
Okay. Because it should the gold bonus advance is advancing because.
So, yeah, that's the collect one.
So for the relay I'm looking for, it doesn't do the gold bonus advanced relay. The left and right rollover relay goes directly to the bonus unit.
David, is it possible that they have it listed 3 different ways and that there's 2 alternator relays and one of the alternator relays is the
No.
Okay.
There are 2 alternator relays.
Okay.
I've had to troubleshoot. Like, I just couldn't get the lamps working right. It was driving me crazy. There was so much. I'm going to double check, but I think there were 2 alternator relays.
What's that?
One alternator relay. Just looking on the schematic. Yeah, there's a number 1 and a number 2 alternator relay.
So Matthew's triggering what is listed as a rollover relay, but it doesn't say L and R. It just says rollover relay.
And does it trigger with the switch on the playfield that you're...
It does not.
So let's find the right playfield switch. It should have, let's see, red-green on one side and red-brown on the other.
So coil with red, green, and red, brown.
No, playfield switch.
Oh, playfield switch.
Left side rollover switch with red, green, and red, brown. I'm sorry, it's not red, green, it's yellow.
Yellow? Yep.
Yeah, I'm looking on the schematic and I got a little confused here.
Yep, I have that switch.
And is that, so when you trigger that switch, the gold bonus unit will advance, I saw it.
Yep.
Gold bonus advance relay does not fire.
So gold bonus advance relay does not fire, correct?
What's that one?
So we're only seeing one relay fire.
And what is the label on that? That does say gold bonus advanced gold bonus. Okay, so the gold bonus advanced relay will fire, but there is another relay that should be firing. A left and right rollover relay. So this is seeming like it's not stuck. I mean, I think our problem is probably elsewhere, and maybe we'll set this aside.
Okay.
So, so we know where the gold bonus advanced relay is. We got the camera right on it.
Yep.
If you do a reset now, I want to watch that relay and see if it's triggering all the times that bonus kind of steps up.
So I just did a end of ball. It gold index down, but I did not hear the ball kicker.
It wouldn't kick a ball out unless there's a ball there.
No, I was holding the out hole switch to trigger a reset.
So you did a reset holding the out hole switch, and the problem did not happen.
As soon as I hit a playfield switch, the problem started happening.
And is the bonus advance relay triggering?
Here, let me end the ball, and then we can trigger it again.
Okay. Yeah. When it's happening, I want to know if the bonus advance relay, gold bonus advance relay is firing. That's the question.
I'm gonna trigger the end of ball switch, triggering now. Okay. So one thing I notice is the gold bonus wiper is on position 1 right now, not on position 0.
Okay.
So I don't know.
Did the so you've already talked before about the switches that are activated for that. Are we sure that they're correct? The sort of limit switches on the gold bonus unit.
Matthew, what'd you bump? So you hit, which relay was that? Because as soon as you hit that, it indexed back down to 0 and went to game over state. So David, did that make sense? So
No, but maybe were you on ball 5?
Yeah, ball 3. But I have it.
Wait.
I got it on 3 ball.
You have it on 3 ball. Okay.
Yeah.
And you're holding the out hole switch, so
Correct.
it thinks the ball drained and it ended the game.
Yeah.
So what I wanted was to well, however we can get the problem to be reproduced.
Yep.
I want to know, does the gold bonus relay energize the multiple times it takes to advance it, or does it turn on and stay on while the motor runs and causes the bonus unit to advance?
All right. So gold bonus unit is currently in the 0 position. Game is in game over. Matthew's going to trigger a new game, and now. So as soon as I felt the ball eject kicker hit, that's when the problem started on the gold. So
right. Did the gold bonus advance relay trigger?
No.
It did not. Okay. Now, so that's very helpful. So we're looking at the gold bonus unit is stepping up, but it's not coming from the gold bonus advance relay. We have the out hole relay and this motor switch. So I kind of want to double check that the out hole relay is energizing and de-energizing as soon as it should. And mostly the de-energizing as soon as it should. Okay. So when a ball gets kicked out, okay, so let's look at the out hole relay. It's just right here. Now we're looking at the out hole relay.
Matthew, are you able to pull up the scene that has his screen? Do you have the scene that has his screen so that we can see what he's looking at? So I think we lost a moto. Oh, she's coming back.
Okay.
And David, another question. Orchestration of the Sonic reset cycle. Score motor triggers, indexes everything down to 0 position, triggers up to the 1 position, and kicks out the ball, and the game is started.
That's what should happen.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure this is supposed to do 1 step up. 2B. Let me check one other thing if it's on here. Do they have a timing? The motor? No. Okay. I'm looking for how the out hole relay gets energized when the ball drains, and it's not as obvious as I was expecting. So just bear with me here.
And while he's reading that, for those that haven't read EM schematics before, you notice that David was hovering over an arrow that said 2 at C5. That's called like a via, where they don't want to draw a line from C22 to C5 because it'll clutter up the schematic and make it harder to read. So anytime you see an arrow with a, an at symbol and that letter and number, that's telling you,
but
look at that position to see where that wire continues.
But part of the problem is, do you read that as C5? I can't tell what that is. That smudge is something. So I'm looking for a down arrow on is that an orange-black wire? I'm not even sure. I have a feeling this just goes up to a motor switch, though, that tells the out-hole relay when to relax. So, but the smudge schematic is not helping. Oh, actually, wait. It points down to, where are we coming from? Because that also helps.
I think
18.
18 or...
Because this goes back to 16.
$28.
I'm not missing it, right? You haven't seen it either?
No, I'm trying to remember where... I wonder if my schematic's any less smudged.
All right, we're looking for this again. We're coming down to C8. We're coming down to 18. And this must be C.
Yeah, earlier it's cut you out of it, sorry.
I was just controlling.
You gotta do the compressor first step.
Oh, it's not 1B, it's 1.8. Okay, this must be it. Orange, blue. Yeah, this is it. So it is just a score motor switch. So I'm still looking at this and saying, what is going to trigger the out-hole relay? The out-hole, okay, this is interesting. The out-hole relay triggers when the gold bonus unit gets to its 0 position. And we just had it not going down to 0 and not kicking a ball out. Right?
Correct.
Looking for the out-hole switch. Gold bonus unit, open at 0. Gold bonus unit, step down. I'm just looking for out-hole switch. Not seeing it. Unfortunately, there's no index to where the switches are on the schematic, only where the coils are. Let's switch over and look at the bonus unit for a moment. I want to see what switches are there on the gear side. All right.
So we have.
And we should have the power off. It should just be off. Because we're gonna advance it and reset. And the camera isn't great. So that is is there a second post?
So we've got.
It's like a limit switch when we get to the top.
So this is the one post that this unit has. I don't think it has a second post. So
Okay.
your switch configuration is a. Let me get to the other side so I can. And we'll index it. So we have a break at position 0, and then a make break below it.
So there's a normally closed that opens at 0, and a make break that switches over at
Correct.
0. And those seem to be okay.
Yes.
They look. Because it sounded to me like you said there were times it was counting off bonus and not getting all the way to 0.
Yes. One of the times today, it would get down to the 1 position. It wouldn't get all the way to 0, but if a field switch got triggered, it would get to 0 and then trigger its count up cycle.
That is really weird. So the light's a little better for me now to see those switches. Can you just switch it from 0 to 1 a few times and back and forth? Oh, yeah, okay.
So that's at position 4 right now. 3, 2. I counted wrong. That's actually 0. So we're at 0. That didn't do what I wanted it to do. Sorry. So this is at 0, 1, 2, 3.
I just need between 0 and 1.
Okay. So 0. Am I in the way of the shot? 1. 0.
So
it's counting 2 there.
The top switch there, the one that opens at 0, I'm not seeing the short blade move very much.
Okay.
And I'm not sure that it's really opening and closing very well.
Okay.
It's clearly open. It was just open then.
Yeah, I pressed on it.
So when it's closed, how much wipe is there on that switch? Yeah, I lose all the light when it gets in that close. I can't. So when it's out like that, if you just put your finger on the long blade and move it. Oh, I guess I do see white. Yeah. And that make break is opening and closing okay? Because I can't really see this angle. It's not good.
I see the one thing I'm noticing is when I trigger it, it's indexing 2 instead of 1. And I don't know if that's just because I'm indexing it with my hand and pushing it too far and it's grabbing 2 pawls on the mech.
You mean when you're stepping up?
Yeah.
Well, your finger's not pulling it any further than the coil does. So if it's doing 2 steps, that's not ideal. But if you're not seeing it in a game, I'm not going to worry about it just yet. Because even the problem is sort of intermittent, it seems. Like we're not seeing exactly the problem every time, right? Or have I missed something on that?
Well, you're not at position 0 yet. Now you're on 0. So maybe. So the make side or the normally open side of the make break, when it goes to position 0, Matthew's saying it looks like it's barely touching.
Yeah, go ahead and make the adjustments based on what you're seeing, okay. So that it, it's certainly a factor. I'm not sure. Let me see if I can find where here's the make break. Oh yeah, that the make break controls the firing of the outhole relay. So we definitely need it to be. I couldn't tell you a wire color. It's not even here.
There you go. Now you're at 0. Yeah. So now it looks like it's moving at least a little bit on that. Yeah. So now we made that adjustment. Do we want to...
Yeah, we should try it after making that change.
Okay. So now instead...
Mm-hmm. I saw it. It was just going back and forth.
Now the score... Oh, wait. That might have been self and the Some might have been self-inflicted because I wasn't releasing the switch when the out-hold kicker was triggering.
But it was acting like it should if you're not releasing the switch, which is good.
So should I score a couple points on the playfield and then trigger the out hole and see if it indexes?
Yeah.
Triggering. It did not trigger. So out hole was pressed. It did not trigger the kick out.
Okay.
Is there something I can hit that's just like 10
the
points?
For the out hole to trigger, that make break. Unfortunately, there seems to be a wire not labeled on the schematic, but it is the make break. So looks like red green is the center wire.
Red green. Yep. Red green is center.
Is the other wire black? Is like one of them going, the one that would be, so, let's see, gold bonus unit, 0 position switch. The state of the schematic is what I'm not sure. So I have a feeling this is probably drawn with the unit at 1. So when it's at 0, let me think about that. It would only make sense for this one to close to kick out the ball at 0. Yeah. So when it's at 0, is that other switch closed good and tight? The other half of the make break.
Let me check. So the switch of the make break, is it tight right now? The close.
The one.
Side.
So it's actually still closed. It didn't actually go all the way.
Is it possible this unit's just messed up and like something's just clocked wrong?
Well, one thing I'm looking at is the gear kind of moving. Is it wobbly in its axle?
Oh, the wafer. It takes.
No. I mean, even the gear side. Like if you go where that E-clip is, can you wiggle it relative to the axle?
Yes.
A lot. Oh, I don't know that that's bad.
Yeah,
I don't know that it should wiggle that much.
It feels worn, but not like it's missing like a bushing or something.
Okay, so when it's all the way at 0,
Yep.
the part of the make break switch that should be closed. Can I see that switch opening and closing? Even from this angle, I can kind of watch the white. Well, let's see. Oh wow, okay. Yeah, it's not in frame. And it's kind of blown out too. Okay, there. Just let me move me out of the way.
Moto, can you turn down the gain on the?
No, it's okay. Go ahead and step it up one. And then I'll step it down.
So we may be in the slop of the mech at that position.
Yeah, that switch is not working correctly. I can see the slop being a problem. So here's the thing. For that unit, so when you're going all the way to 0, what you can see on the back of the gear, if you look at the gear, there's, it's not opposite the post, but almost opposite the post. You can see like a weird little pattern on the gear.
Yeah,
like it's a swage point.
The zero, that
little
where they press fit that.
It looks
that
like a
piece.
star,
Yep.
like an asterisk. Okay, so the back side of that is I just call it this hunk of metal. It's a blob.
Yep.
And it's a mechanical stop. That is absolute zero for that. It won't go further than that. When you're in that, so that's zero. And if the switches need to be I don't see that closed switch like having any white when you're getting to it. It's just barely touching.
Yeah.
And that triggers the out-hole relay. So we need that switch to close tighter.
Securely. So
Yeah.
is it something that there should be another wind on the spring for the?
No. It's a switch adjustment. The switch isn't adjusted close enough.
Okay.
The part of the make break that's closed now is not tight enough.
Is there assembly question? When I reassembled this mech, what's the proper assembly technique for reassembling one of these and rewinding that clock spring there?
So the torsion spring that goes around the gear.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. The it's a good question. In general, and of course you got the game not working, right? So you can't just follow this. In general, you sort of count how many unwinds you do when you service it.
Yep.
And then you put that many back on. It's usually around 3.
Okay.
If it's wrong, or if you're replacing the spring, you just don't know. That spring is used to step it down, right? And it needs to be able to step it down, not just from the maximum, but from the minimum. So if it can get from 1 to 0, that's the right amount of spring tension. And you don't really want more than that, or it causes the whole rest of the mechanism to have to fight more.
Yep.
So, if it can get from 1 to 0, then then the spring is wound tight enough.
Okay.
This is usually kind of a big problem that comes up around ball count unit, because you usually finish your game. If the spring is tight enough to get from ball 5 back to 0, you think you're okay. But if you try to restart the game at ball 1 or ball 2, that spring has to be tight enough to do it. And sometimes if it's tight enough at the 5th step, it isn't tight enough at the first one.
So
now, the wobble you're seeing here, let's see, you're stepping down, because, it will be, I'm wondering if we're going to have to do some adjustment of the steps. I think if we get those switches right, we'll be okay. The part of why I was asking about, was this a working game before or not, is there are limit adjustments in these stepper units, particularly right above what we're looking at right now, and it's the orientation of above, right? So for the step up, Paul, there's a screw there that controls how far that plunger can come out to rest.
Yep.
You never need to touch those screws. The factory sets it right. But if someone has messed with them, you got to deal with that.
Yep.
And if you're getting two steps, but you're not actually seeing that. Well, you don't know if you're seeing 2 steps in the game because it just keeps advancing and advancing. But that wouldn't be affecting these switches.
David, how is this supposed to be? This is okay to have slop right here. There supposed to be?
It does step down okay. If you can push the plunger all the way in, and it does its step down, then it's okay. And it looked like that was working fine. I don't think the switches are necessarily changing state. Let me look in. Oh, it did move.
So the one thing I'm noticing, so I index it to the point where it is no longer, it's at its max position.
Okay.
Counting it down, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. That
right, 0.
So okay. So
right. So that's correct.
Okay, cool. Because when it does, like, I just noticed that when we trigger the first step up, it seems like it's grabbing two teeth. So could it indexing past the 1 circumvent the, like, I guess it shouldn't because it's a break.
No,
correct?
no. You're looking. I mean, those switches are changing state between 0 and 1. It's in the 0 position that it triggers the out-hole relay. Now, I mean, it triggers the out-hole relay with the gold bonus relay being on, and we could have a weird little timing problem there, but I'd like to kind of. Did you adjust that switch, or is it? So it looks like it's closed to you. I mean, are you seeing wipe when you go from 1 to 0?
Yeah, you might want to bring it. It's probably inverted and reversed. Oh, dude, hold on, let me get it. Problem is there we go. The hard part is it's inverted and rotated 90 degrees.
Oh, no, I know. It looks great to me and everyone watching. But when you go, so when you're when you go to 0, the one switch that's open now.
So that's 0 right there.
Yeah, I didn't see any wipe on that switch. I don't think it's closing tight enough. So right now you have one closed on the make break and the others are open. That close is not tight enough.
The close.
That blade needs to be closer. And I realize you don't have a lot of room here. It might be that everything needs to move.
It needs to be on the nearly triggering at 1 so that it really triggers on 0.
Well, it's basically 0 and anything that isn't 0. But 1 doesn't mean anything, right? So it could be a 1, 2, 3, 4. It doesn't matter. When it's at rest like this, it might be that all the blades need to move toward the post. Like everything has to move toward the post.
So that it's triggering, like when it's counting down, it's triggering on the leading edge of getting to 0, not the resting edge of 0.
It needs to trigger on the resting edge of 0.
Yeah.
But I think it's not getting there, right? So it would take it off of 0 to do this adjustment.
Yeah. Here, let me get it off of 0. All right.
And Matthew, you can hear me. I think I kind of think everything has to move a little bit because I don't that close is it's really tight and it needs to be closing more.
And bring it up so that what's that? Do one at a time, correct, David?
Yeah. What you're doing is just right. You're going to move that one normally closed and keep it closed, but further out. Switch blades, when they're adjusted right, should basically be straight. this is so close. I'm not sure that's really an obvious.
Yeah, it's not like it's clocked where the switches are triggering at the the one position, correct? Like that's what you're looking for. That if someone were to mistake 0 position or not 0 position and set everything up.
No, basically I wasn't seeing that last switch close tight enough, but it also looked like you didn't have room to make it closer. But given this is all going to be sort of in one position at not 1 and another position at 1, you can adjust it so that the right things are happening when it's not at 0.
Yeah.
And then everything right has to happen when it turns to 0. I guess I'm not explaining that terribly well, but what's happening here is good. Oh,
I guess so when I described it earlier, when I was calling rest, I was saying like the mechanical rest that 0 position has some motion from when the wiper first starts to hit that 0 pad and finally hits the the mechanical end stop. So we want to have these switches adjusted so that as it's entering that final motion, that the switches get pushed as it enters the mechanical rest and gets that wiping action.
So I don't know, I can't follow that any better. All I can say is when I see the post on that long blade right now, it's not moving the last short blade enough. I don't feel like it's getting closed tight enough. So bring that open switch, just bring it closer.
So open switch, bring it closer.
Wait, I'm not. So can Matthew hear me?
Yeah, it's hard, but I'm trying to relay for you.
Okay. I'm just saying we need to see wipe on that last switch, and I'm not seeing it. I'm not seeing the short blade move when the long blade gets to it. Oh, wait. Okay, wait a minute. What was that? That's the slop you're talking about, isn't it?
So you're at 1 position right now, Matthew. So now you're at 0. What? That's 2, but it's crap. That's first index, but it's actually moving 2 in that first call. So that's 1. That's 0. So David, as someone's like rebuilt, like cleaning out, like first time working on an EM and working on one of these stepper units, and they're told, hey, you need to lubricate it or clean it out. If someone were to take like sandpaper to kind of polish the shaft, make sure there's no old material, anything like that, how much damage could be done as far as some of the play we're seeing? Could that have been done by me being overzealous with some polishing and possibly create like a 0 position error because the mech is sloppy?
I mean, if it's worn, I doubt that it's. I mean, you talked about sandpaper. I use like a scrubby pad, but I'm kind of thinking. I mean, the axle generally, I just need to clean it with a solvent. I don't think I'm using. Unless it's really grimy, I'm not using anything abrasive on it.
Okay. Noted for
so
the next
EM. I do think the switch is. I like the switch movement better now.
Okay. So switch movement's looking better.
Do that one more time. I'm checking the make break. I just want to see the make break.
0. So
just go between 0 and 1 back and forth a few times, and let's just look at that make break. And I want to see wipe on both sides of it. That looked good. I think you should test it now.
Okay.
You might want to step it up a few. It doesn't matter. It probably won't matter. We'll test it a few times if it seems to work.
So, right as it powered up, it counted up 3 or like it probably counted 5, but I only paid attention to 3 of them. I'm gonna press the out hole now. The gold bonus is at position 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So triggering now. It counted down to 0, and it did not re-index up to 1, and the ball was not kicked out. And it does not appear we're in game over, but I also don't see a ball light indicator.
What was that?
I triggered a switch just to see if it was in game over or not. It does not appear to be in game over.
Is the out hole relay turning on? It should be on.
I don't think we saw it turn on. Out hole relay is on the playfield, correct?
No, out hole relay is probably in the bottom board.
Okay. It's going to be on the right side. Let's see, real motor, or wait, coin relay, credit relay, player. It's hard to read this one. Out hole. Here we are. So as soon as the out hole is triggered, the out hole relay should be active, correct?
No, it actually, it seems that the out hole relay will turn on when the gold bonus unit gets to 0, and the gold bonus relay is at rest. So with the gold, it should be on.
It does not seem to be active currently.
Okay. The can we double check the gold bonus relay?
Yep.
Which should be on the playfield there. Can you just double check that the switches there are opening and closing as they should?
Okay.
It should be a normally closed switch. With black blue on one side and the other side is not, the color's not on the schematic, but there's black blue on one side of a normally closed switch on the gold bonus relay. And for people following along, I'm looking at this.
I've got black blue right here. Yep, black blue is the long wiper on this guy, and that appears to be, yep. The normally closed is not very tight.
So let's get the normally closed tight. And here is a side question for Matt while we're doing this.
Yes.
So Matt, you said one of the last things you did was sort of a tear down of the playfield.
Yep.
Was it the first time that you actually unplugged? Did you unplug the playfield from the bottom board and go work on it somewhere and come back and plug it back in?
Yes.
Did you clean the Jones plugs?
I did not.
Okay. Do you have your favorite stuff for cleaning Jones plugs with you? I use a 3M scrubby pad that is for metal. You can't. I find the green pads in your kitchen is not rough enough.
Yeah, the brown.
So,
the 3M.
Yeah, the brown one. The brown one, purple, whatever. Let's see. Where's the normally closed? Actually, one of those is not closing. It's the second one. The gap is huge, but isn't one of those supposed to be normally closed? Is that the gold? Can't read the label. Oh. What is that one labeled?
Gold bonus relay.
Okay. So, so for Matt and everyone listening, something that I've learned, and I've seen this at least 2 or 3 times. Let's hold on. We'll come back to it. Let's look at these switches. Okay, that looks good. So here's something that I've learned. You know, we on electromechanical games, the heads get taken off all the time, and people learn to clean those Jones plugs, and you know they don't have to be cleaned every time, but you know they get cleaned because we take the heads off and we know to shop that out. If the playfield has not been unplugged and everything is working, everything's great. Once you've unplugged the Jones plugs from the playfield, if they haven't been cleaned in 20 years or 10 years or however long it's going to be, when you plug them back in, you have a new problem that's going to come up. And I've seen this on multiple games. Mm-hmm. They don't get plugged in and reseat in the exact same place. And you've now got some, you know, one or more open connections on the Jones plug.
Okay.
So, you know, considering you did say, you know, you did a playfield strip down, it could be that you say you unplugged them.
Yep.
You worked on the playfield, you plugged it all back in, and you have a new problem. We should clean those Jones plugs.
Yes.
I wouldn't believe it if I hadn't seen it for myself. I can remember 2 occasions. I mean, one of them was, you know, this was a game we had at our museum. I mean, they get a lot of use. We fix them every week, and this guy was working on something, and then we had a new problem, and we're chasing down this problem. It wasn't the original thing he had been working on, and eventually he does tell me that he unplugged and removed the playfield. Oh, yes. Let's clean the Jones plugs, and that solved the problem.
Okay. All right.
So we should do that. I guess, I mean, we just did some adjustments here. We can check that, but
unfortunately, I don't think we have any of the brown Scotch-Brite pads.
You know, I mean, you know, look, at the worst case, we could just unplug them and plug them back in 3 or 4 times. It's oh, was it doing it?
Yeah, it did it, and as soon as it stopped, the out-hole relay de-energized. I believe that was the out-hole relay. So the out-hole relay was energized. So while it's doing that cycle, the out-hole relay is energized the entire time when it's stuck in its loop.
You are holding the out-hole switch, though.
Oh, okay. All right.
Right? I mean, it's... The out-hole switch is going to have it step up one. Like, so, I mean, if it kicks out the ball...
So I just triggered it again. This time, I waited until it stopped. I felt the kick out. Kick out happened. Then it started counting up, and the out-hole relay was still energized. Is that...
Oh, that's not right.
Yeah.
So we want the out-hole relay to not stay energized. when the gold unit gets off of the 0 position, why would it be staying energized? There's this. So now we're going to follow this path back up.
David, what position is the out-hole relay on the schematic? Because I've got mine over here. I'm just looking at it.
So the out-hole relay is at 18.
18. Thank you.
And you know, the path that goes straight to it is the hold switch. So, you know, that, and the point, the arrow that goes up does go to a motor switch that we could look at. But the triggering path has the at-rest switch on the gold bonus relay that normally closed.
Yep.
And then we have that make break on the 0. And that make break should be opening when it advances.
So
I'm gonna find that out-hole switch on this playfield because I'm on the schematic. I'm really kind of worried. I'm skipping over that because I didn't find it right away. And I am aware that we're not running out of time, but we are going pretty long.
Hello, hello. So
Hello.
Rob Anthony with Pinball Classics actually has that little spongy dude to clean the Jones rug.
oh
You want me to go grab it?
yeah,
I'll grab it from.
brown 3M Scotch Brite pad. So Rob Anthony actually has some, so we're going to go purchase some from him, and he will be. I just threw my wallet to my girlfriend, and she's going to run and grab those for us.
And this will be great because the next time I see him, we have like a running joke that he doesn't have any EM parts, stuff that I ever need. And this will be great. Like I can tell him if he really has what we need.
Yeah.
That's pretty funny. I mean, I tend to walk over, I might need a fuse. He goes, I don't have EM fuses. I mean, that's what it's come down to. Because he doesn't have coils I need. He doesn't have like relay switches and stuff like that. And I understand why.
Yeah.
But then I needed a fuse. He goes, no, I don't have EM fuses. It's a great running joke. I'm still looking for this out-hole switch on the schematic too. Just because I think I want to understand this just a little better.
I wish I remembered where the out-hole switch was, and I wrote it. I know I wrote it down at one point because I was looking for it for far too long as well.
I mean, I'm finding something called hole switch.
Yeah,
there's also a collect bonus on the playfield, isn't there?
There is.
Is there a collect gold bonus on the playfield?
Advanced silver, collect silver. No, there is not a collect gold. So, and on the playfield, it is labeled collect gold bonus. So that's probably the switch.
Okay, and it's gray blue.
Yep.
On one side
and black on the other.
Yeah. So okay, so this is the out-hole switch. It will trigger gold bonus relay, which is actually sort of the collecting bonus relay or stepping down. When it's done stepping down, it should trigger the out hole. relay. You're getting out-hole relay turned on but not turning off.
Correct.
I guess we have to follow this path up to C5 or something. Let's see, is it C5 or C3?
What's there to bet that the that via we were looking for is the collect bonus via?
I have a good way for us to test this motor switch.
Yep.
If we I would turn the game off and turn it back on, so we're in kind of a game over state or something. There's a coin relay, and if you were to trigger the coin relay, does it turn on and stay on? It should run the motor and probably add credits or something. But
so trigger coin relay, and then
I want it. Oh, that's wait, that's not the right stuff.
Oh no, that isn't the right.
That's soldering
iron cleaner.
I don't.
Yeah. That won't get the job done.
He gave a bunch of different options of what he had. No.
Yeah, it's not the right stuff, unfortunately. Okay, so yeah, we do not have the Scotch-Brite pad, unfortunately. So you're saying trigger the coin relay in the cab, and
so just trigger the coin relay by hand, and let me know that it turns itself off at some point.
Okay. Let me figure out which one that is.
This is a switch that's in common with the one that would hold on the out-hole relay. So by testing the coin relay, if the coin relay does something and then doesn't stay on forever, I know the motor switch is okay.
Coin relay. Coin step up?
No, it should just be coin relay.
10-cent relay, reset relay. All right, must be on the other side. Ball index, tilt, lock, game over. We could try the other side. It is really hard to read these labels after this many years.
So one of the things I do when I'm shopping out a game is I'll use a compressed air and I'll blow out as much dirt as I can around those labels so that I can read them. Sometimes, I mean, you have to be careful because you can there's paper. You don't want to tear the paper. You don't want to screw it that way. But if you can...
coin relay is one of the relays that was like sticking on for me when I was doing my testing. So like if I had the gold bonus at position 0 or position 1 and I triggered the collect on the play field or triggered the gold bonus relay, not the step up but the countdown, the coin relay was locking on. So let me trigger it real quick.
It shouldn't have even been turning on.
Well, might be part of our problem. All right, I'm gonna trigger it. 3, 2, 1, now. So it held on for one rotation of the motor and then disengaged.
Okay, all right. I don't think that switches our problem then. For people looking at the schematic, let's see, is it still shared? Yeah. So I don't know. Is it big on the screen?
It is not on the stream currently. Komodo, can we get the schematic on the stream?
So I'll wait for the schematic here. I thought I had a way
schematic
of changing my highlighting color. Oh, here we go. All right. I'm going to use a different highlighting color. So when I follow this down
Yep.
to the out hole lock on, it comes back to this make break switch here.
Yep.
Seeing what the switch is doing on the motor can sometimes be challenging. So if I have this option, I'm following it here.
Oh, can you use a color other than green?
Oh, okay, yeah. I understand what you're saying is happening. Let me go ahead.
My bad. It looked really cool.
So David.
No, I know what happened. It's a green screen. Yeah.
When we borrowed the stuff from Rob Anthony, he said, "These aren't EM tools. These aren't EM cleaning tools. I don't know what you want from me. I'm not an EM dude. Why are you asking me?"
Oh, there we go. Thank you, Rob Anthony. So I'm looking at this switch. It goes down to the hold for the out hole relay. So I'm also following it here. It is the hold for the coin relay.
Yep.
So if the coin relay, if you trigger it by hand and it's not locking on, assuming this switch is okay, we can rest. The motor runs and this switch opens.
Yep.
And that tells me that that's not a switch we need to look at for why the out hole relay is sticking.
And that coin relay should stay energized for the for one rotation. Like, it's not like it energizes, de-energizes, and then the motor finishes its rotation. It should stay.
This schematic doesn't have a motor timing diagram. This thing is labeled SB, and I'm hoping I can then make sense of it.
Would that be 5B? In circuit to coin unit. What color are those the wires on the schematic? Because my schematic has the. Oh, yours does too. Okay, cool.
Okay, in circuit to coin unit. Oh, it's the make break on 5. This is I'm pretty sure rotation. That first of all, this is the rest position for the index cam.
Yep.
And then these run in order.
Yep.
So 5, it's going to be at the very end of the motorcycle. So if that's what you were seeing, it holds on for almost an entire cycle of the motor. That is correct. And then that switch opens and we're good.
Yep. So, did I trigger the right one? Let me make sure I triggered the right one. Yeah. So, if I trigger there's conditions where I can trigger the coin relay, and it doesn't do the score adding up. It doesn't index that gold unit like it did last time.
Oh, at this point, it might be adding a second player.
Yeah, it did.
Okay, but it locks on for one cycle of the motor, right?
Correct.
And then releases. So
releases.
This switch is good. We're still thinking, why is the out hole relay sticking? You said it was staying on.
Correct.
We've looked at this make break switch. I'm pretty sure that was turning off. I was opening. That should be enough to drop the out hole relay. Okay. So here's one last, a next thought. I don't know if this will be our last one. But you were seeing the out hole relay sticking on.
Correct.
I would like us to try to get it to where it's sticking on again.
Okay.
And then turn the machine off and see if the relay drops out or does it stay in the energized position. I'm looking for a mechanical problem.
Okay.
So by turning the game off and try to not sort of even jostle the game when you hit the power switch.
Uh-huh.
But there are ways that wear can cause things to sort of hang up, and I'll give you what the fix is. But let's see if that's the problem. And Emoto,
so
we can probably switch back to mostly game view. And then I can see.
See, then there's sometimes I just triggered the out hole and everything orchestrated properly.
And if it is a mechanical problem, it might not happen every time.
Yeah.
Essentially, and maybe I'll explain it first in the hopes that we can see it. The coil on relays has a magnet on the top that's sort of the shape of a D.
Yep.
It may be a little different on this game, but it has a rounded, sharp edge.
You go grab that thing of foil.
The repetitive motion of having it pull in the armature and trigger the relay can wear the armature of the relay, that metal plate, and it can start to cut a groove in it, and it'll catch on the coil magnet. It will mechanically catch. So if we can get it to do that, if you turn the game off and it stays in that energized position, even without any power, we know that it's a mechanical problem.
Yeah, because so I'm triggering it and it is cycling. Let me get a better view into the machine. So it would be so this guy right here. So if I trigger the out hole.
But you did see it hold on too long once, right?
So it just did the count up to only position 5. So it did it 3 times without having a problem, and then the last time just now, it looked like it held longer than it should have. It only counted up to 5. It didn't all the way. It didn't continue to go. So does that sound like maybe that relay's hanging?
But you saw it sort of staying on longer than you expected. I can't see what you're doing with the switch.
Yeah.
So, and is it kicking multiple times?
I'm not hearing it. If I hold the out hole switch, I feel the kicker kick out multiple times. I also seem to notice that it's not indexing its player.
Here,
right now.
we can look. If it is sticking mechanically, the better fix is you need to sort of open up that relay and burnish the edges that are touching.
Yep.
Sometimes the quick fix I'll try is I'll just run a file between the magnet and the armature and just kind of burnish it just a little bit with a file, like a switch file.
Okay. And
that will sometimes remove enough of. You could also just maybe get grease in there. There can be crud in there that causes it to stick. So I would turn the game off, put a file in there, and let's clean it a little bit and see what we've got. Maybe it's time to even put the playfield down and try putting a ball in. But I'll watch the camera as you're doing that.
All right. Do we have?
Do it with the power off.
Something. Matthew's going to grab a switch file. All right.
Yay, I finally had the right tool.
And yeah, okay.
So definitely on the magnet side, picked up. Well, that makes sense because it's magnet filings.
Oh, huh. Yeah, when it has a mechanical problem, you'll never see it doing it by hand. It's like
Yeah.
you just got the slightest little edge catching, especially when it's early on and it's just like an intermittent problem.
Yep.
Oh, we were also gonna do the Jones plugs. Like I would just do the like.
Just a couple disconnects if we don't have the Scotch-Brite.
Yeah. If you don't have the right thing, it'd be good to at least unplug them and plug them back in a few times.
Yeah.
And I hate asking people to do that because they have a tendency to want to break. So be gentle with them, pull them out the right way. You use two hands, put the microphone down. And how do they look? Are they oxidized or shiny? Yeah. It's like I said, I would plug it in and pull it out maybe another time or two, and make sure it's all the way down.
No, it's so nice. All right. What's that? Oh, yeah. All right, we are putting the playfield down. Oh, the coils I have are not the don't have the D shape that I could show the stream what that looks like.
Yeah. It's thanks though.
I tried to be as prepared as I could for you. Oh, ball's already in. Awesome. All right, so we'll power up. We're in game over state. Trigger. So currently, score motor's indexing. It doesn't feel like the gold unit is indexing. Score motor is just locked on. I'm gonna push the ball out of the out hole and just see if it stops. Out hole has no effect.
Let's double check those switches on the gold bonus limit.
Okay. Check on the gold bonus unit or gold bonus relay.
The gold bonus unit. I'm feeling like we maybe did something with that. I don't know.
Yeah. So this is the
actually that thing. Let's see. The motor was just running. I mean, it so you know what would be the better next step now really is to figure out why the motor is running, what relay is triggered that's causing that to happen. Of course, it might just be a switch that's closed on a relay that's not firing.
Yep.
We did mess with the gold bonus relay, and let me make sure if that one runs the motor or not. Yeah, so the gold bonus relay will run the motor.
Yep.
So we could check those switches, but
now I'm starting to realize why this game was only $475.
No, Prospector's a great game. How dare you?
No, not that it's a bad game. That
You paid for the problems.
yeah. I have this tendency to buy broken things for cheap instead of just buying the nice things the first time.
No,
around.
but this is the fun part.
Oh no, I agree. But I've been staring at this schematic for 6 weeks.
We're getting closer.
Is the make break? Is the on the make break? I can't see if the switch that needs to open at 0 is open. Is it? Okay. Or I just need you guys to look at it. I don't have to see it, but. So Matthew, are you wait? Who's triggering? Matt.
Matt is triggering.
So go ahead and put it at 0.
You're at 0?
Oh yeah, there's 2 open and a closed, right?
Correct.
Okay. And it seemed to be at 0 when you were running it. It's funny to be this close up and look at this unit because I'm seeing other things that kind of had me a little concerned before. I don't know how much this plays into the problem, but let me highlight something right now.
Okay.
So on the step up coil.
Can we get the schematic again?
Actually, the camera's showing something right now. No, not the schematic. Sorry.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
So, I don't know if you can see this unless you actually look at a big screen showing you the camera. But I'm seeing that the coil sleeve is broken and not getting all the way through the coil bracket.
Okay.
I'm actually seeing plunger below the bracket. Yeah. It's also like not sitting smoothly. And I think if I looked at the coil stop on that coil, it also looked like it wasn't seated properly. Is that like on the, can you move the camera?
Yeah, just drop it straight down.
Like it's see how it's kind of cockeyed and it should join up smoothly.
Oh, something's jamming it from getting...
I think something's kind of jammed up in here. I don't know that that's causing our problem, but it's not right. Is that, did you take it up, did you get it, did you go, when you were servicing it, did you go as far as to take off this coil sleeve?
No.
Take off this coil, the coil stop.
Coils were left in place. All I did was take the copper pawl out. And
does that look bent to you?
Yeah.
It doesn't look right. And then, like I said, on the other side, that coil stop, the coil sleeve is not coming through that bracket. It's broken.
Yeah. Does Rob have EM coil sleeves?
Yes, he does. He'll have the sleeve if the coil stop is bad. I don't think he'll have that.
Yeah.
Actually, he won't. There are different coil stops used for AC circuits that he won't have. And the coil bracket itself looks kind of bent.
Yeah,
and I think it's actually it's part of the frame of that unit. You'll have to take that whole thing apart and get it all straight. I'm wondering if, look, Williams parts fit in a Sagaza game. but I'm wondering if someone tried getting something in there even before that.
Yeah, that was going to be my next question. Was I see a nice big Williams logo and not a Sagasa.
Yeah, and I'm kind of using Sagasa and Sonic. I can't, even the same company. I think they might be. They're both Williams parts.
Yeah.
So it's almost always just completely interchangeable. You can use Williams parts. I'm working on some other Spanish games now where that is not the case. I've just learned that there are different sizes of coil sleeves. I'm going to have to go get a 3D printer or something to make some coil sleeves that are a little bit different than anything we can get. I don't know. Do you want to... Oh, you probably can't even get a screwdriver in there. You'll have to unmount it and everything. But,
yeah, I think that might be a little invasive for...
Yeah.
I'm going to have to get my anvil out, my cool little metalworking apron. And,
So,
start a fire in
how
the
about
backyard.
this? What if David gives you a bunch of tips of what to do next,
Yeah.
including changing out that coil stop and stuff, and then in a few weeks we schedule a PinTech Live where we can all jump on again and see if we can get to the next level?
That sounds
Would
like
you
a
guys be down for
fantastic
that?
idea.
David's like, I don't know if I want to take
David's
on
done
this
with this.
project.
He wants to bring...
This seems like the kind of troubleshooting that's really hard to do remotely.
Yeah.
I'm wondering, we also do these online clinics where there are multiple technicians who can chime in, but
Okay.
those are not streamed. I mean, they're conducted live. They're not streamed. They're not recorded either. But we can get the game fixed. Yeah, this is
Amoto.
Yeah, that
Maybe
is
something
actually
that
a
we
really
could do is
great.
if I join in, go through it, and then we record a, like on the next PinTech, Benzik's $400 Prospector follow-up from MGC, and what we looked at, and I can just take notes and record everything we looked at, all of that, and maybe make some reenactments, not overly dramatic, of course, and try to figure out what's happening here.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm
Yeah.
going to drop
I
a
mean,
link in
this-
the chat
this could
too
still-
for the Fun with
I mean, this
Pinball
could still.
seminar.
Oh, sorry, Komodo, go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say the Fun with Pinball seminar is super awesome. It's a completely free service. It's run by Mark Gibson and David Volanzky, and several others are the EM coaches. And so do that as well too. And then we'll come back with a PinTech Live and we can kind of like recap, the whole
Yeah,
experience.
For sure.
And we could all learn from it. So that'd be awesome.
Where does this game live?
Detroit, Michigan.
You want to
Oh.
fly out to Detroit?
No, I'm wondering if that's close to where Clay Harrell ever gets.
Yeah. No,
He'd
I'm
probably lay hands on this and fix it in 10 minutes.
Yeah, I work about 5 minutes away from Clay's shop.
Oh, but he's moved, so I don't know how much time he spends out there. But yeah, he would get to the bottom of this pretty quick.
Yeah.
If I still feel like, you guys have been great, but it's really hard to do it remote.
Oh yeah, it's a matter of half a millimeter of a switch is just barely out of it. Like something very small is wrong, and it's throwing everything.
And the interactions. This is a complicated circuit. The out-hole switch doesn't trigger the out-hole relay on this game.
No.
The out-hole switch triggers you to collect bonus.
Yep.
When you're done collecting bonus, it then triggers the out-hole and it kicks out the ball.
Yep.
You are having first of all, we had the out-hole not always kick out. That's one problem.
Yep.
And even after it did kick out, it was advancing after that, which I can't think of what would be causing that unless something is sticking on.
Yeah.
Which Which one was I thinking here?
Yeah.
And when it was stepping up, it wasn't using the gold bonus advance. So it's something going direct.
Correct.
I mean, the out-hole relay itself, if the out-hole relay is sticking on, and this is part of why I was really wanting to see that.
Yep.
So on the schematic now, and let's see, I'm in blue now. Okay. So this...
Amoto, can we get the schematic?
So the gold bonus unit step up is happening when it shouldn't.
Yep.
One of the things that would cause that is if the out-hole relay was on when it shouldn't be.
Yep.
And I think we did see it stick on to some degree. It being on is going to run the motor. There's a motor switch that's then going to step up, that's going to cause us to step up. Is that what's happening? I'm not even sure.
Yeah. This is a fun one.
I believe that your problem is here. I think this is something to really dive into and find out what's going on with the out-hole relay.
Agreed.
To kind of just watch that, if you can get the problem to happen, see if the out-hole relay is on, and get to the bottom of that. The wiggle in the stepper isn't great. I don't think it's supposed to move that much.
Yeah.
And just seeing how that coil is mounted, I mean, it was really fun that we got that angle at the very end, because it's crazy that, I don't, when I'm looking at a game, I don't even know if I'd see it that close. I would have seen that the bracket was kind of bent, but seeing that...
you would have never been able to see the plunger from the angle that you did.
Seeing the plunger shoving through where there should be coil sleeve is just crazy.
Yeah.
It's also funny, I made a little green here, and I can see how the green screen is acting up.
It was funny, when you first started drawing it, I'm like, why is the schematic disappearing? I'm like, oh, he's using blue, or he's using green.
I was like, he's using gray highlighter. Oh, wait, that's a background. Awesome.
So like the actual like copper gear that steps up, is that something that, like, you look at where the stamped stopper is on that? Is that something that, like, that stopper is always in the same place for that part, like that style of part, and then they use different holes for the switch triggers? Or is that kind of, your mileage may vary? It might be used in 4 games, it might be used in 1 game, you just never really know.
Show me the unit on the screen and show me what you're asking. I think what you're saying is that physical stop. Williams steppers, which this basically is a Williams stepper, it'll always have that physical stop there. Gottlieb has it. I've had to work on some foreign games that didn't have the physical stopper, and it caused me a little grief until I got my hands on a schematic. But the physical, that stop is always there. The step up and the fact that you're getting 2, it's an adjustment of that switch, that screw on the step up.
Okay.
But it is, these are very finicky adjustments, and I'm not sure how to describe it, because I've kind of done it by feel so far.
Yep.
I haven't really learned, like, what am I supposed to look at? I mean, it's it's mechanical. If you're mechanically inclined, you can see all these parts and how they interact, and you can figure out how it works. And that's kind of what I've ended up doing.
Yep.
So when I've had to adjust that, it's weird, because you think you want to adjust how far the ball is pulling in, or the plunger is pulling in, the plunger always pulls in all the way to the coil stop. It's where does it go out that you can adjust, and that it'll change the throw. And in fact, you know, when you look at that coil stop, if you find it terribly worn and you end up placing that, it's going to change all the movement here, because what, you know, if it's so worn that the plunger is going to pull a different amount, you're going to have a different behavior if you replace the coil stop. I don't know that the coil stop is a problem. I think that coil sleeve is a problem, and if a broken coil sleeve is not causing the game to act the way it is. It's just not making it more reliable. That's for sure.
So Matthew just did a little bit more adjustment, and currently it's playing.
It worked.
Well, it's not indexing the ball count.
It didn't go up to 1, or you had to put the ball out by hand.
Oh, maybe it did. It just didn't display it. Like, I think it just finished a game and seemed to be fine with it. Uh-huh. Okay. So, I'll describe what Matthew's describing, or maybe I could just give him the mic.
So what I was looking at was this was actually twisted sideways. So so it was twisted.
Yeah. I mean, that is the adjustment for getting that rivet contact right under where it's supposed to be.
Right.
And it affects the lights. It only really affects the lights, though.
So it wasn't actually coming when we counted down the stepper. It wasn't actually ending on 0. It was ending on 1.
Well, but here's what I'm saying. In this case, that wiper, it's only controlling the lights.
Really?
Yes. It's that the wiper is controlling the lights. Those switches are telling the game when it's at 0 and when it's not at 0. And when it is scoring the bonus, what it's doing is and I don't know if it's going to score first or step first, but it's going to sort of score 10,000 and then step down. Am I at 0? I'm not at 0. Score 10,000 and step down. Am I at 0? I'm not at 0. Score 10,000 and step down. Oh, now I'm at 0. Trigger the out hole relay, kick out the ball, step up 1, and now you're playing. And so it's scoring your bonus by stepping it down and scoring on each step down until it gets to 0.
And each of those steps,
the wiper is just changing the lights for you.
Yeah. So and each of those steps, what's it called? Each of those steps, those counting and those checking points, those are off of like the impulse wheel on the score motor. That's how it's getting those, or like whichever one has.
I'd have to kind of look at the schematic a little more. I think because I'm looking at the paths to the gold bonus unit. Let's see, which one is it? The gold bonus. Was it the step down?
The game seems to be playing
the reset
now.
So here's the thing: the gold bonus unit reset, which is the step down of the gold bonus unit.
Yep.
It follows multiple different paths through different multitudes of score motor switches, depending on whether relay 5 and relay 6 have triggered, because that's how you get double bonus.
Yeah.
So it is going through the impulse, and so it's going to get 5 steps per. Well, is it working now? Let's see.
Yes, it has just decided to work out of spite.
Well, no, I mean, we've been whittling away at it.
Yeah,
We've,
no,
done a bunch of
Yay,
stuff.
we did it. Now don't touch anything anymore.
Well, I was going to say, you know, we were doing a lot of testing by holding the switch with our hand and trying to let go when it would trigger. The time it takes you to realize to let go is sometimes not fast enough. I mean, it's not a statement of you. I'm just saying, like, there's a point at which I have to start testing the game with a ball in it.
Yep.
Because I can't do things fast enough.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, 'cause you're watching this. You're watching, you know, the relays, the coils, you know, and you don't.
So that was just work. That's really funny that the moto. I thought we might need 2 hours. It took 2 hours.
It was perfect. Look, it's.
I want to see. Will it do a game reset? I guess he's on ball 3, so we'll know soon. Maybe he might do really well.
This is his second game so far.
It is Matthew Day. I think this game needs lightning clippers.
So is the gold bonus lights working?
There's a couple that are testy.
He trained on purpose.
Yeah, so we're on player 2 right now.
So it's working now. Oh, he's in a game.
Yeah.
I did want to see it like start a new game, and then maybe we have it.
Yep.
Have it going.
We have a big camera on that, so you don't have to do that. There.
So now it should do double bonus. But we didn't have much bonus there.
Oh, no.
Game over. And play.
Hey, you guys fixed it.
Woo!
Yeah, don't move it.
Yeah,
So,
don't move.
You know, I make the joke about not moving it and everything. I do want to say, people have this thought that their EM machine, once they move it, it doesn't work anymore. If your game is shopped out and tuned up and everything is right on it, you can move it all you want. It's going to work when you get to your destination.
Yep.
If your game is that sensitive that it doesn't work when you move it, you've not got it adjusted yet.
Correct.
So, I mean, I move games all the time. You know, we prep games in our warehouse to go to the museum. They go to the museum and they work. We prep games to go to a show. They go to a show and they work. If you move a game and it doesn't work, it's because it wasn't ready yet. But this is exciting.
Yeah.
So do you have to move this game into a row now for people to play it, or can they just leave it here?
We'll have to move it into a. We're gonna move it behind and see if it still plays right.
Private
and if
play.
it still plays right, then we'll try to move it again and see if it plays right. And
well, and you know, it'd be pretty funny to realize in the end it was unplugging and replugging in the playfield a few times. Like I said, I have definitely seen a working game. Everything was fine, but you need to, or you're fixing one thing. You unplug the playfield, you set it aside, you fix it, you bring it back, you plug it in, and now you have a new problem.
Does Pacific have like a like, you know, with the like the kind of the, you know, I'm forgetting the program's name, Amoto. Do you have what's the EM program that the Fun with Pinball program?
Oh, Fun with Pinball. Yeah.
Has there been, like, do you guys have any sort of, like, you know, kind of idiot's guide to EMs or something of, like, you know, here's the 10 things that we always find on an EM that's sat? Like, is there any sort of resource like that with you guys, or is that something that we haven't had time to make?
You know, Pacific Pinball Museum, we don't really have a lot of that. I mean, I've done some of these streaming sessions where I've covered schematics. I do some presentations that get recorded from time to time. I'm going to do some presentations at Golden State this year. Actually, I'm doing one and Mark's doing one, and we're collaborating. So we'll have those recorded, but we're going to cover It's what you were just saying is these are the 10 things to check. I don't know that I could tell you those. I mean, like if I bought a game like you did, not working Electro-Mechanical, what do? Before I've plugged it in, I have a ton of stuff I do before I plug it in. And I'm pretty sure I learned this from Clay Harrell. Whether I read it or whether I watched videos from him, you go through all the steppers.
Yep.
Everything has to step up, reset, step down. All the switches have to be right. You do that before you do anything. Score reels are a kind of stepper. Yep. But the problems you have with score reels tend to be things that will present themselves to you. So, you know, I work on this. I mean, if all the score reels are, if you're in a Gottlieb game and none of the score reels are moving because it's sat for 40 years, it's a typical thing. You'll have to shop those out, or at least do the first player, you know, so you can get somewhere. Yep. So steppers, go through the you know, check if you're going to have a lot of problems with the score reels. I'll do some of that. One thing I've had a lot is power cords are really dangerous. If you've got an old power cord, I mean, okay, I won't mention a name, but a friend of mine just bought us a game. We've got it at Free Gold Watch in San Francisco, and I wasn't there when it was received. I mean, he set it up, he plugged it in, he played it. It was a playing game. By the way, when a playing game showed up, I still put like 20 or 30 hours in on it to get it dialed in, solid, get every last thing the way I wanted it. But one of the things I realized, I mean, I went to the power cord and there was a 2 millimeter gap where insulation was just gone on one of the conductors and the zip cord. I mean, there's a 50-year-old zip cord, and the other side had a crack in it. I mean, that was ready to short out. Pacific Pinball Museum had some games that went to a show, and they started plugging the games in, and we had power strips blowing up, and we had circuit breakers going, and I looked, and somewhere along the line, the power cord had been replaced, but only like wire nutted in to some original power cord still in the game. The original power cord in the game was so brittle, they had just broken up and the wires had shorted. So on this new game that's in Free Gold Watch, when I went to replace the power cord, that same thing had happened. Someone had cut the original power cord and put a new one on for the external part, and that external part was so old it was bad. The stuff inside the game, you couldn't even flex it. I mean, I unsoldered it and I had it, and if I had moved it, it would have just had no insulation at all. So power cord's a big thing. The other wires don't do that. I'm not sure what it is. I'm grateful that the other wires don't get brittle like that. But the power
probably the UV. It's probably UV damage on the cheap rubber, and it just.
You know, I mean, it's going to be obvious. Well, I'm wondering if it just gets hotter. I mean, it gets hotter than the other wires. It's the power. I don't know. If it's near the transformer, that's putting out some heat.
Yeah.
People don't always realize to look at the ball. If you've got a rusty ball in your game, you're sanding down the paint on your playfield. So that's something I always look at on a new game. I don't go through and look at every switch and every relay. I don't do that. If you test the game, you'll see what's good and what isn't. If the switches on your relay are adjusted correctly, and ideally it came out of the factory that way, if no one's messed with it, it's still that way, they are self-cleaning. having that relay fire a few times will bring the game back to life. For some reason, the ones in the heads are particularly susceptible to this. The scoring relays in the head, a lot of times you take a game out of storage and it's just not quite doing its thing, and you just the relays with your hands.
Yep.
The game doesn't have to be on. You just like move all the switches, and now the game works. Now that's on a game that was in really good working shape and then just got stored for a long time.
Yep.
And dirt got in where it shut.
Dust and stuff built up on the contacts.
Okay.
And then
now, but in terms of other resources, so pinrepair.com still has tons of electromechanical information from Clay Harrell, if you like to read. I learned a lot from that. I've been doing this about 10 years. So 10 years ago, there wasn't the YouTube content that's there now. The Goat Shed EM guys, Kim is in our online sessions. He joins us at some weird hours to deal with helping the U.S. guys out. Goat Shed, I don't know how, I guess you should know how to find them in YouTube, but if you did Goat Shed EM in YouTube.
I'm dropping in their channel.
Okay. They've done a lot of videos about servicing EM components and how to do that. It's like I haven't even looked at what all they have in terms of, are there ones I still want to do. I started a series. I had a guy I was collaborating with. I did Gottlieb score reels, and then we never did a second video. Meanwhile, he's been off there doing videos all the time. It's like I just point people to him. I don't have to do all that. Does that kind of give you part of an answer there?
Yeah, no, I was just curious, because so this machine is actually my third EM. I've got a space, what's the, not Space Odyssey, the 4-player, Space Mission, a Knight Rider, and both of those games came somewhat working, and it was very much the, back box, get some coils running, play a couple games, and, half the things didn't work on the first game. Then the next game, a couple things started working as the switches started working themselves out. Like this one was the one that was just throwing me on, like looking at how the wipers were moving, looking at the schematic going like, the out-hole relay doesn't actually connect to the out-hole switch. Yeah. What is going on here? Like,
I would say, the games you mentioned are some really complicated electromechanical late model games. If you got yourself an early 70s or late 60s single user electromechanical, it's a lot easier to deal with stuff. There are fewer components. Multiplayer, just the schematic alone, it gets that much more intimidating in a multiplayer game. When I was learning schematics, it did not help that I would have to jump in on a multiplayer game at times. There's huge chunks of a giant schematic that are just for awarding replays on high scores for all the players. Half of your schematic, you could just throw that out if that's not what you're looking at.
Yeah.
But, you've got 2 extra steppers in this game, keeping track of how many players have coined in and which player is up.
Yep.
You have a single player game, there's just a ball count unit. That's it.
Yep.
So those are hard. And now I will plug, Mark took lead on the presentation that we're going to do on startup sequences. But, there's a cruel irony, and people are going to keep hearing me talk about this when they hear our presentation. People want to learn how to work on an EM. So they get a project game, and all you have to learn to get it to start up is everything.
Yep.
Everything you're going to have to learn is what it takes to get it to start up. If you got a working game and they're like this component, this pop bumper didn't work, you can fix that. This score reel isn't advancing or carrying over. You can learn how score reels work, and you can do that. If you have a game that won't start, it's everything.
Yeah.
So we're going to do a presentation looking at the generalization of a startup sequence. People, a lot of times people ask, like, what happens when I try to start this game? It's different for every game. Yeah. I'm sure there's some commonalities, right? But we're going to cover what is generally common. Score reels go to 0, bonus units go to 0. We haven't got the presentation done yet, but there are things that happen, and it is just everything has to work, basically. Yeah. Now, pop bumpers don't have to work, okay, but the hard stuff.
There's got to be one that has the pop bumpers in the reset circuit, though. Like, there's got to be one engineer from back in the day that was like, this will throw somebody off in 2025.
I don't think anybody making these games in the 70s thought we would be working on them in 2020s.
Yeah. That's true.
All right. Well, thank you so much, David. We really appreciate you joining us all the way here in Milwaukee. And we look forward to hanging out with you at Golden State Pinball Festival. We have a lot of great seminars set up for that with our Pinball University team. So, and congratulations, Benzik.
Yeah. Now I might be able to sell this thing now, so.
I'll buy it.
All right. I'm down.
What's my cut?
David, should I buy it?
Yeah. Yeah. For 2.5 hours. I'm going to get, invited out to Golden State, and then David's going to walk up to me and be like, so, you owe me, right?
I know. Yeah, I'll bring it to Golden State.
Matt, my advice is sell it before you move it.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, like right here.
Yeah, like auction it off. This guy in the light blue shirt. Let's see if he wants it.
I'll give you 50 bucks.
I'll need a little bit more.
Oh, yeah, you paid.
Thank you for your help, though, sir. Incredibly educational, and explaining a lot of the schematic stuff. Like, really appreciate your time. It's awesome to hear.
You're welcome. I was happy to do it.
Thank you. Thank you to the Matthews. They're almost like twins. All right, y'all, stick around. We're going to stop the
What else are you doing from there, Moto?
So tonight, right after this, we're going to jump on with Anna Moore with Pin Builder. It's a new Steam game on the PC that you can build custom pinball machines on. So kind of like a simulation game, but for pinball. So we're going to do a gameplay demo and hang out and make some really weird looking pinball machine together. So it'll be awesome. And then tomorrow we have a full lineup, some homebrew chats at 3 o'clock. And then Matt's going to do his skeleton frame software demo to show how he created his homebrew, Motor City Pinball.
Whoop, whoop.
And Mark Valich from Mark's Basement will be doing how to clean a score motor.
Reels.
Yeah.
Score motor or score reels?
I think
thought it was
probably
reels.
the motor,
Oh,
the
okay.
actual motor.
Nice.
And what else do we have? Oh, Matthew's doing a flipper rebuild seminar, and then he's gonna Lensify firepower that we're gonna then put into a tournament in the after party. So that'll be awesome. And then we'll have one of the Stern team members from Insider Connected, Taylor Bancroft, to do updates with us on where Insider Connected is at. So yeah.
Excellent.
David's like, goodbye.
Packed weekend at the Marco pinball
there we
stage,
go.
that's for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. It'll be fun. And then on Sunday, we have one more stream going that we're going to do, which is our arcade owners and operators chat.
Don't we have the Venom team or the coming through?
Oh, we're gonna do some screenings and stuff too. And
Okay.
yeah, Venom team is doing a seminar on Saturday at the main stage.
Oh, main stage.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. They get the big stage.
Don't let their heads
What
get too
schematic
big.
is on Matt's shirt?
What's that?
What schematic is?
This is a friend of mine, Ice Cream Studios. They make pinball score reel clocks. So it's a stepper motor driven score reel clock. And they actually have license with Gottlieb to use Gottlieb backbox art. And then they also do some of their own custom art. So literally, it's a simplification of their schematic and their stepper motors and everything. But I figured it was the right shirt to wear. So
very good, very good. I was probably trying to wrap it up and wish I hadn't asked more questions, but
we're easily distracted. She knows we're like herding kittens. It's fine.
And thank you, Matthew.
I can't stop y'all, but thank you. Well, have a good night, everybody. Bye.
All right.
Thank you.
Good night.
Later.